So today we're holding on Daf Yudam at Bais, and we're discussing what the Mishnah said, that there's 12 days that the flute, did we say the flute, bangs, or is played in the Chalil, is played in the Beis HaMikdash. We said it was basically by the shechting of the Korban Pesach, Pesach Rishon, Pesach Sheni, it's the first day of Pesach, Shavuos, and the 8 days of Sukkot. Then we discussed in the Gemara why these days. So we entered into a discussion about Halal, which days we say Halal. So we have Rabbi Yochanan says in the name of Rav Shimon ben Yitzchak that there's 18 days of the year that we say Halal. It's 8 days of Hanukkah, 8 days of Sukkot, that's already 16, and then you just have Pesach and Shavuos one day. And if it's outside the Eretz Yisrael, so you have to add an extra 3 days, which makes 21, because you have an extra day of each of the long holidays because of Sveika D'Yom, you have an extra day. Okay. The Gemara asks, how come on Pesach we don't say Halal the whole Yom Tov? We only say Halal the first day, or the first and second day, if you're outside of Eretz Yisrael. And on Sukkot, we do say Halal every day. The Gemara said, well, on Sukkot you have different Korbanos every day. The Korbanos switch. In other words, the Korbanos that are brought special for Sukkot, it's not just the whole Sukkot one. It's every day it changes. It starts at 13, the next day is 12, the next day it's 11, the cows, right? Each day is a different order, it's a different number. But Pesach it's the same, so the holiday already began, we only say it the first one, same holiday. So 1 second, Shabbos has a different sacrifice, we should say Halal every Shabbos. The Gemara says Shabbos is not called the Yom Tov, it's not called Mayed, the term Mayed. It says, what about Rosh Chodesh? Rosh Chodesh is called Mayed. We should say Halal. We said, well, Rosh Chodesh you're allowed to do work. So now we're holding Rosh Hashanah v'Yom Kippurim. It's 6 lines down, or 7 lines down. It's towards the end of the line, at least in my print. Rosh Hashanah v'Yom Kippurim Dikri Mayed. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It's called Mayed. It's called the festival. The Ikdish Basiyas Malacha. And it's sanctified that you're not allowed to do work on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Lema, we should say Halal. Yeah, it answers Mishum de Rabavo, because of something that Rabavo said. Rabavo says, Damar Rabavo, Amar Malachi Asher Slefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The angels say in front of Hashem, in front of the Holy One, Rabbeinu Shalom, Master of the world, how come the Jewish people are not saying Shira in front of you on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur? Is this, what are the angels trying to do? Are these like the prosecuting or the defending? I don't know what or they're just, maybe there's something that happens to the angels when we say Shira. And they're not trying to say anything about us. They're just like, why aren't we, because maybe. So Amar Lahem, Hashem says, Efsher Melech Yeshiv al Kisei Din. Is it possible that the king is sitting on the throne of judgment? Sifrei Chaim v'Sifrei Mesim b'Suchel Mufano. And the books of life and death are open. Yisraelim and Shira or Lefanai, and the Jewish people are saying songs. So that means that it's a more serious note on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. It's not a time for song.
It's almost like that when Hashem commanded David for
Zamira's curse. Right. The Darshanim say that Sifrei Chaim and Sifrei Mesim doesn't mean which book you're going to be written in. They say, this is the rabbi speeches, they say Sifrei Chaim and Sifrei Mesim means the books of those that are alive, and the books of those that are dead, they passed away and they left unfinished influences. And the way we behave, we affect the way that we were influenced by people that passed away already. So the books of the whole world are still, some things are still in limbo, because we don't know how, it didn't play out yet, all of those influences. That's how they.
So it never closes.
That's right.
You see that having progeny.
Right. Right. Depends where they take you. That's what they explained. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, any idea beza derech melichin I see, because I don't know how my students are going to turn out. They could pull me this way, they could pull me that way. It depends on, on the influence. Gemara asks, "V'ha Chanukah, delay hachi v'lay hachi v'ka'amar." 1 second. Chanukah, you're allowed to do work. Chanukah is not a mayid. What's going on? Why do we say halal on Chanukah? You're allowed to do work on Chanukah. We said that we don't say halal on Rosh Chodesh. Talking about the full halal. We don't say the full halal on Rosh Chodesh because you're allowed to do work. Well, guess what? You can do work on Chanukah, and you say halal anyway. Why do we say it says Mishum Nisa? That's a different story. That was a miracle. A miracle that has a different set of rules. The miracle of Hanukkah. Yesterday we mentioned this.
Pesach was in miracles.
I should say halal every day. Never get up at 5:30 in the morning for work.
So tell me again. Oh, it's a miracle.
It's a miracle, definitely.
That's why there's a miracle that's b'shas hanes. At the time of the miracle, you say halal, and then you commemorate the miracle, you say halal. So the question is the halal by the seder. Some people wanted to say that the reason why you don't say halal, you don't say the bracha on the halal by the seder, is because that's considered a halal b'shas hanes. And when at the time of the miracle, you spontaneously say you recite halal. It's not a prepared halal that you recite a bracha and all of that.
Somebody speak to management to bring it on the table.
Someone said
Eily.
Call
management.
When they got captured the old city, so there's a whole machlekes. The Rabbanim, should we say halal or not? Yom Yerushalayim. So some Rabbanim said that the first year we should say halal with a bracha, and after that we say it without a bracha. And then so they said, 1 second, it doesn't make sense. The first year was a spontaneous halal. That you say without the bracha. Afterwards, then you should say with the bracha. Anyway. Okay, so Mishum Nisa, if there's a miracle, that you can say halal. Purim. Here's a discussion. What about Purim? The Ikan Nisa Lema. We should say halal on Purim. So Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Rabbi Yitzchak says, "Lafi she'enim shir ala nesha b'chutz la'aretz." You have a problem. Purim happened outside the land of Israel. No halal. Only halal. Only miracles in Israel. We only have one holiday that took place in Israel from all our holidays. Hanukkah. All our other holidays were somewhere else. The miracles were somewhere else. Right? So Purim, you can't say halal. So Maskefla, Rab Nachman Bar Yitzchak, Variyatzias Mitzrayim, D'Nesha B'chutz La'aretz Uvayim halal. 1 second. Pesach, Tzias Mitzrayim, we say halal. That was, where did that take place? In Egypt, on the way out of Egypt. Kedetanya was taught in a Bais. Here's our answer. Before the Jewish people came into the land of Israel, they didn't have Eretz Yisrael yet. So then you could say halal wherever they were. But once we came into the land, then all the lands lost their potential for halal, and we can only say halal on miracles in Israel. So far, who have we had here? We had a Rabbi Vo. He said he brought up the discussion in heaven why we don't say halal on Rosh Hashanah. We had Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, and now we're going to have an answer. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak. We had a Reb Yitzchak that says why we don't say halal on Purim. He said because it's outside the land of Israel. Now we're going to have an answer from Reb Nachman. Reb Nachman Amar Kriyasa Zui Halela. When you read the Megillah, that's halal. What is halal? Halal is it's a song that's saying the praises of Hashem. And when we read the Megillah, we're saying the story. That's enough. Rava Amar, Rava says, Bishlei Mahasam. Rava answers over there by Egypt. When we came out, we say, Halu Avdi Hashem, V'lei Avdi Pari. That the servants of Hashem praise God, but not the servants of Pari. So Hacha, Halu Avdi Hashem, V'lei Avdi Achashverosh. Over here, what are we going to say? The servants of Hashem. There's an emphasis there. We're the servants of Hashem, but we're not the servants of Achashverosh. Akati Avdi Achashverosh. We didn't escape from Persia. We're still under the jurisdiction of Achashverosh. So we can't say Halal. The Gemara goes back and asks the question. One opinion here said that on Purim we do say Halal. It just doesn't have the name Halal. It's called the Megillah. That's considered Halal. So Rav Nachman, Damar Kriyasa Zui Halela. According to Rav Nachman, that says that the reading of the Megillah is the Halal. We have a problem. You're not allowed to say Halal for miracles outside the land of Israel. Gemara says, once we went into exile, then you can. What happens now? That was in between the Bais Rishon and the Bais Sheni. Do we say Halal now on miracles that happen now? Yes. No, I don't see a difference, right? Even Shagalo. I don't know. Okay. We're up to a new piece. The Mishnah said the flute. I didn't bring my book with the pictures. Started off saying, called the flute the Chalil. 12 days the Chalil is played. And then it says, but it wasn't a abuv shel nechoshes, it wasn't a copper flute. It was made out of reed, because that was more sweet, the sound. Now, the Gemara asks that the term changes in the Mishnah. First it calls it a Chalil, then it calls it a Ebuv. Pasach b'Chalil, Masayim be'Ebuv. Starts off with calling a flute a Chalil, and then it finishes with calling it a Abuv. Amar Rav Papa says, Hainu Chalil, Hainu Abuv. It's exactly the same thing. I should tell you that there's other Mishnayos that do this. And it also uses the same term, Pasach b'this and Messiah b'that. It starts with this, and it's Rav Papa that answers that I know this, I know that it's the same thing. So V'amai korei Chalil. So it says, so why do you call it a Chalil? Listen to this. The Chali Kali, because its sound is soft and sweet. I now have the pshat why we call challah. Challah is what you remove from the dough when you give it to the kohen. Why do we have why do we say challah on Shabbos? It's not challah. Challah is what you're not allowed to eat. Because in Aramaic, challah means soft and sweet. I never knew this. This is the pshat. The chale kale. Its sound is soft and sweet. No?
So because
Challah is not the Hebrew word challah. We spell it with a hey because we don't know what we're doing. I don't know. But it must be
So in the
soft
old
and
days,
sweet.
in the old days, the parents used to call the kids challah.
Chalila.
The new pshat. Taner Rabbanan.
You're gonna have to back that up. So.
What's the problem?
No, I've always thought of challah because it's genemt challah.
Oh.
That's why it's called challah.
But then it's on the wrong
It
item.
is, but I mean,
It's like calling all the remaining money in your account Meiser.
But it allowed you
What's the
that
account number?
that it's permissible for you. I'm
I
just saying
understand.
that's how I grew up in my mind. So
I understand.
you're like busting, you're busting it, you know.
Stop living in the mistake.
Taner Rabbanan. The Rabbi's
Stop
taught in the
living in
Brisa.
mistake. Get out of here.
Abav
I'm
Haya
still listening
B'Mikdash.
to the Grateful Dead, the bread, and
Abav Haya B'Mikdash. There was a flute in the base of Mikdash. Chalak Haya. It was smooth. Dak Haya was thin. Kana Haya was made out of a reed. Moshe Haya was from the days of Moshe. Tziva HaMelech V'Tzipu Zav. The king commanded, and it should be covered in gold. V'lei Haya Kol Arev. This is like a tale that, but the but the sound wasn't sweet anymore. Natlu es tzipuya, they took off the plating vayakala ariv kamashaya, and it went back to the way it was. This is the story of the improvement. It doesn't. Tiltalay b'mikdash al nechaysh shaya. There was a symbol, that it was made of copper vayakala ariv. It sounded very sweet, v'nifkam, but it got blemished. I don't know what that means, dented or something. V'sholcho chacham v'eviu umne mi Alexandria shel Mitzrayim. The sages sent and they brought experts from Alexandria of Egypt. There were many Alexandrias, because Alexander made all of these cities, and each one he named Alexander. So, but in Alexandria of Egypt, v'tiknua, they came and they fixed it. However, v'laya kala arav, but it didn't sound the same. Not lo astikuna, they took off the fixing. V'laya kala arav kamashahaya, and it went back to its old sound. It's interesting because after they fixed it, before they fixed it, it didn't sound right, I guess, right? Or maybe not. Maybe Benifkam just meant that it didn't appear right. Because here it's different. Here they fixed it, and then you took it off, and all of a sudden it sounds perfect. So how did that happen?
Over here in the commentary it says, it is possible that the damage was purely cosmetic.
Very
It
good.
did not affect the sound in the first place. So when
Very
they
good.
covered it,
Very good. They quote someone on that, or is it? They say Rabbi Scroll. His first name is Art.
there's in the, I don't know if this comment, Mikdash, Yechezkel, Yad, Benyamin,
Okay, good.
I don't know if that's Maratz Chayat, or is that before?
Okay.
Is that from before?
You guys are having too much fun over here.
Machteshes. Yeah, you have to project it onto the wall. Machteshes haisa b'mikdash shel nechaysh haya. Machteshes is a grinder or a mortar, some sort of grinding instrument. It was made out of copper, and Moshe it was from the days of Moshe. And it would grind the besamim. The besamim is the ketairos. Rashi mentions that the sound affects the besamim, and therefore this grinder actually sounded pleasant. Just like when the hadek hativ hadek nishakal yafla besamim, the sound affects the. So I remember I met this professor. I said, "How does the sound?" I asked him. I forget what we were talking about. How does the sound affect the besamim? He told me, "No." The kol yafala b'samim means that when you say it's like a hop 2 3 4 hop 2 3, so the sound, because when the rhythm makes it grind better with the rhythm, but not that the sound affects the. That's what he told me. But this Rashi is clear, not like that. The sound, because even the pleasant sound of the grinding affects the b'samim. That's what he's saying. So, however, nispagma. It got blemished. They brought professionals, craftsmen from Alexandria, and they fixed it. And it wouldn't grind the same way. So not less they took off the fixing and it came back. How do they explain that one? Also, it must have been cosmetic. Do they explain that was also cosmetic?
Actually, they asked a question, how are you allowed to fix clay showers?
Oh, it gets contaminated.
They said only poor people will fix broken things. I'm trying to find out.
Oh.
This mortar was allowed to be.
Oh, that's
So it's
another
saying
question. That's
the
a different
reason
question.
the mortar was allowed to be repaired was because it was irreplaceable.
Uh-huh. Okay. I was asking if it's a cosmetic problem. Uh-huh.
You're not replacing.
Now the Gemara says, Eilu shnei kelim nishtayru mimikdash rishon. We have two utensils that are left over from the first base of Mikdash, b'nispagmu. These utensils were the Khalil and
The symbol.
I'm sorry, the symbol and the machteshes, right? What about the chalil? I don't know. Okay, so these two utensils, the symbol and the machteshes and the grinder were left over. Nispagmu, they had no fixing, they had no healing. Alei Amar David, nechoshes memayrat. Memayrat means that it's polished. David says, this is a quote from Menachem Aleph, from Kings. And it also says, Necheshes memayrak, or marok. That also means that it's bright. Regarding them it says, Klei necheshes mutzav shnayim chamudus mizav, or kizav. These copper, is it copper or brass?
Copper.
Very good, exactly.
That's funny.
It's like
Copper.
It's like coffee or tea.
All right, copper.
Also says
James Cagney.
in Morat.
Let's see the movie.
Right, that's the first one. Second one is
James
Marok.
Cagney.
He had Cholent this morning.
All right.
So it says that these vessels were superior to gold. Now we have a machlekes Rav and Shmuel. We have a machlekes between Rav and Shmuel, this first generation. Chad Amar one says kol echad vechos shakel kishnayim shel zav. Each one of these brass utensils was as valuable as two golden vessels. It was such a special brass that it was like gold. It was like even more. It was more expensive than if it would be two of in gold. The Chad Amar, one of them says Shneim shekulim ke'echad shel zav, that both of them were worth one vessel of gold. They weren't that superior. Well, they were, both of them together were worth one gold. And the other one is exactly the opposite, that each one was worth two of gold. So no one says the middle one. Interesting. Tanya Rav Yosef said, Shneim shekulim ke'echad shel zav. He taught that they were both worth one of gold. Tanya Reb Nosson Aimer, Reb Nosson says, Shniyim hayu, shnemar shnayim. They were pairs, because it says two. Al tikri shnayim ala shniyim. You read them as pairs. That means that there were two symbols, two machtesheses. Tani Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Aimer. Sorry, yeah. Is he correct?
No, this is my own thing. I don't think it's brass. I'll tell you why. Because brass is copper and zinc.
Okay.
And you have gold. You have silver. Why all of a sudden would you have a hybrid in the Bais Hamikdash or something? Everything is otherwise so pure. So I vote for copper. My own person.
The thing about
Then again, wait.
No,
You
no,
could
no.
say, wait, I know what you can tell
you're
me, but they're allowed to wear shatners, therefore they can have
I
hybrid.
forget, there's a
You're
Gemara
right.
that says,
well, in geology, gold, silver, and copper are all called native elements,
Okay.
and there aren't many native elements, which means they occur naturally in nature in an uncombined form.
okay,
That's one vote for me.
So they're that's what's common to those elements that's talked about in the Torah.
I forget, there's a Gemara somewhere that says that they improved the copper somewhere. And that must mean that there's a benefit to when they made the alloy.
Adding zinc and then turning into brass.
Okay, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says,
Thanks for the help.
Shiloach hayom mekaleach mayim b'ki'iser. The shiloach, the water that's in Jerusalem, the spring, the well of the spring of the shiloach, that would spurt out water the size of an iser, which is a coin. Tziva HaMelech berchivu. The king said, "Oh, we got to make this bigger, kadesh yisrabu meimav, so that more water should come out." And what happens? When it's maitu and less comes out. No, this is if it's not broke. Chazru miyatu, they made it smaller, and it started to spread out again. L'kayim ashenemar, this fulfills the verse in Yirmiyah. It's one of the Haftarahs. Al yisal chacham b'chachmasei, v'al yisal gibar b'gvarasei. Let not the wise man pride himself with his wisdom, and not the strong man with his strength. Because you're not going to fix anything. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says, Hurdalim. It's probably something hydraulic. They didn't use this instrument that was a hydraulic instrument in the temple. My hardulim. What is this hardulim? Amar Abaya. Abaya says tabla gardena. Tabla gardena. Abaya translates as a bell. Problem is that it doesn't fit with the term hardulim. Maybe it does. I don't know. Hardalis. Hardavlis. Rashi has a different kirsa. It sounds good, but it confuses the melody. So that's why they didn't use it. Rashi says if you would use this at the end of the song, it didn't sound perfect at the end of the song.
Oh, he says something interesting. You know the way when you hit a bell, it doesn't just stop sharply,
right.
Like that. So he's saying here, it says the bell did not end sharply, but continued to resonate for a while, thereby clashing with the other instruments.
Oh, that's not
so that's what it means. Interesting.
Amar Rava Bar Shila. Rava Bar Shila says Amar Rav Masna Amar Shmuel. Says in the name of Shmuel. Magrefa Isa b'mikdash. Magrefa normally means a shovel, but over here it's some sort of instrument, musical instrument. Asar Nakavim Hayabad. It had 10 holes. This is when children that are more creative, they make instruments out of any kitchen utensil. So what does it sound like, and they use it. I'm sorry.
And cardboard boxes.
Right. I've watched a painter. He was making a color. He's a really artistic person, and he's like, well, the color wasn't right. So I'm taking a spoonful of coffee, put it into the paint, mix it up. He says, "This is better." I assume he knows it's not going to bring ants, but you just like. Okay, so anyway, here's an instrument. It must have something to do with the shovel, but it has 10 holes in it. Each hole can give off 10 different types of sounds. Nimtza, if you have 10 holes, each one gives off 10. You can get 100 sounds out of this, 100 types of notes. There was a Bais that says, he ama, is that Aleph? Gamda amda, and it was wide and ama, I guess. Gvaya ama, the kata yetzimena, and has a handle.
Sounds like a saxophone almost.
Uh-huh.
Put your both hands on it. It's 10 things to hit. And it's long.
Uh-huh.
But that's...
I don't know.
Sleep last night?
The asar nakavim hayuba. It has 10 holes in it. Kalachan maitzi meya mini zemer. Each one gives out 100 sounds. Nimtus kulamiti elef mini zemer. It comes out that there's 1,000 sounds that this instrument can make. Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchak v'simanach masnisa guzma. I'm not sure what Rav Nachman Yitzchak means to say, but if you want to remember who said what, because we had a statement from Shmuel and we have a statement from Brisa, and Shmuel says that there's 100 sounds, and the Brisa says there's 1,000 sounds. If you want to remember who said what, he says masnisa guzma. The Brisa exaggerates. Now this is based on a Gemara that we had before.
Usually they like to exaggerate.
We explained this before once, because we had a Gemara Chulin that's we'll have it again in Talmud, that the Torah speaks in exaggeration and the prophet spoke in exaggeration, and we explained the Maral gives the explanation that because the Torah speaks in heaven and alludes to what's happening down here, so in truth what the Torah says is true. It's only alluding to it. Down here it looks smaller. It's like what the Alter Rebbe writes about the traveling of the sun, that if you have a sundial, it goes, the sun travels thousands of miles, or the earth returns, whatever. And over here it only looks like an inch or two. That means everything in heaven is on a much larger scale. So that's why when you say that there's an exaggeration, that's, for us it looks like an exaggeration, but in truth the way the Torah is up there, that's the way it is. Okay, Va'avdei Kayanim Hayu. Who played this? We have 3 opinions.
Baruch Hashem that it comes back to us. And the little thing down here, of course, it's Alex,
right.
Then comes back
Right.
to us. Wow.
Right, that's
We
what
reap
the
the
Alter
good
says.
prophets.
in at the end. This is in the end of Igeres HaTshuva, in the last chapter of Igeres HaTshuva. So there's three opinions here how this works. First opinion is Rav Meir. He says that who was playing the instruments? The servants of the Kohanim. Rabbi Yossi says it was Yisraelim that were miyuchas, that were of pure lineage, but they weren't Kohanim or Leviim. That's what Rabbi Yossi says. And Rabbi Chanina ben Antikna says it was Leviim. So three opinions. Rabbi Meir says servants. Rabbi Yossi says Yisraelim miyuchasim. And Rabbi Chanina ben Antikna says it was Leviim. Lema b'hakam niflagi. Let's say that this is the machlekes. You know, you have a band and you have a choir. And which one is the main one? The one that says that there were servants that were playing the instruments. The choir is the main song. The orchestra is just to enhance the choir. We're from the outside, we can discuss this. When you'd ask them, of course, they would say the choir is the main one, the choir, and the orchestra would say we're the main one. But from the outside, who's the main one? So we say that the choir is the main one, and so therefore, what does this mean? Who's playing the instruments? Well, the Levium are doing the singing, so the instruments. That's you can use servants to do that. Manda Amar Levium Hayo, but the one that says that the Levium were playing the instruments, they hold Kasavar Ikashir Bekeli. No, the orchestra is the main thing, and therefore the Levium had to do the song. They have to play. They have to play the instruments. Umar says, "V'tizbra." Do you really think so?